songs now. So, as I said, I am getting my master's in dietetics, and I completed this presentation for one of those classes. For this presentation, I needed to choose an audience to teach, which is all of you, research as much as I could about you, and then choose a relevant topic to teach you about. And so that's what this is. After all my research that I did, eating the right meat for heart health seemed like a valuable topic to cover, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, who am I? Once again, my name is Kiya, and I will soon be a dietitian and do this for a living. But where did I start? Well, I grew up most of my life in the Midwestern state of Wisconsin. However, my dad is from Florida. My parents met there, that's them, serving in the Navy. And ultimately, I was born in Florida. So I'm a Southern girl at heart. And even though I grew up in Wisconsin, my siblings and I grew up on a Southern diet. It was in middle school when suddenly my dad read about healthy eating, and we switched over to eating what's called more of a Mediterranean diet. Just come on in, no worries. And that switch in our diet sparked the passion in me that I didn't even really know until I went to college. And then fast forward a couple years, and I'm in my undergrad doing nutrition-related research, cooking for my friends on the weekend, and learning a lot of exciting things about nutrition. And I finally decided that I'm going to do it. I'm going to become a dietitian and help people with their nutrition-related needs. So 10 years after middle school and experiencing one drastic diet shift in my household, and nutrition is what I want to do for a career. And here I am. And then here's some other pictures of just my adventures lately. But that's enough about me. After researching all about you guys, I needed to pick a behavior change goal that would help guide this session. And I was informed by Mr. White that you would all be potentially interested in learning more about alternatives to red meat. So for this session's goal, I chose this as our behavior goal. And that is incorporating more lean meat options such as chicken and fish into the diet, aiming for 2 meat options for every 1 red meat option. I wanted to talk specifically about lean meat because it's great for heart health. Heart health in the South is something that came up a lot in my research, and we'll get to talking more about that later. But one thing that I need to note is that for the sake of being concise and using fewer words, I use the term lean meat to refer to all proteins such as meat, fish, and other proteins like eggs, tofu, and nuts. So technically, the term lean is referring to a specific aspect of meat, as you'll come to know, but here I'm using lean meat as like an umbrella term. Okay, so here are the objectives that are guiding our session today. First, we're going to start with a short discussion, so I get to talk to you guys. This is our first time meeting. And then we'll have a quick lesson on lean meat and its benefits, followed by some activities that I hope everyone will enjoy. And lastly, we'll even get to taste some lean protein options. How does that sound to everybody? Good, all right. It's going to go by fast, and hopefully we'll learn something new and have some fun along the way. So first things first, I wanted to talk with y'all and have a bit of discussion since this is our first time meeting. And what's going to happen is first I'm going to read you some statistics that I found during my research, and then we're going to talk about them and what we think. So, first statistic I found is that in America, heart disease is the leading cause of death. And that is from the Dietary Guidelines of America, or the DGA. Number 2, being an older group of individuals, you are at a greater risk of heart health issues, also from the Dietary Guidelines of America. And finally, the South has prevalent conditions of obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure that reflects unhealthy lifestyles, dietary habits, and a lack of exercise. And that's from the American College of Cardiology. So they study hearts, basically. Um, yeah, so with a raise of hands, how many of you have grown up here in the South? Yeah, so just about everybody. Well, raise your hand if you know someone or have a family history of heart disease. We got a couple? Okay, and when I refer to when I'm talking about heart disease, do we know what I'm referring to? Like what heart disease implies? Can I get a volunteer?
Like congestive heart failure?
Yep, congestive heart failure is one kind. Any other conditions that are like we know that are associated?
High blood pressure.
Yes, yep, high blood pressure. There's
Heartburn.
Heartburn, yep.
Short of breath.
Short of breath, that could be related to heart too, absolutely. Making it hard for the heart to work. Another that I'm looking for is high cholesterol. That also is something that's related to heart health and the blood system. Did you have one?
No, I thought she was trying to come in.
Oh, okay. Okay, and so what I'm ultimately wondering, and what you can't exactly find in research, is why, like, what is stopping people from having a healthy heart in our region of the South? Like, what are we doing differently here in the South that's having these higher prevalence?
I just think it's this country.
Yes, yeah.
It's not just the South.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere.
Heart disease is a national issue, absolutely. Yeah, what could be contributing to the heart disease? Like, why is it so hard
The
to?
way we eat.
Yeah.
The fact that most of us don't exercise.
Okay. Yeah, the lack of exercise and diet.
People don't drink enough water.
Water's a big one too. Yeah.
My family, one thing I like to say, and honestly, I think just about accountability and self-discipline when it comes down to it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just like trying to make those habits is really hard. Yeah.
Hereditary.
Yes. Family history. That's a huge one. It's a big thing. Something that you can't really choose necessarily is the genetics. Oh well, that's like I really appreciate all that feedback. Because we just want to consider like what those barriers are so that we can address them. And looking at it from a broader view than diet, some that we already talked about were like high conditions. Other conditions that affect heart health are like the high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Other ones are obesity, diabetes, smoking, all of those. And so, which of obesity and high blood pressure, which of those are related to diet?
Diabetes.
Yes, diabetes is
Obesity.
very much, yeah, obesity. Yeah, so it's kind of a trick question because it's all of them. All of them are related to diet. And like we said as well, it said that in the CDC says that lifestyle, age, and family history can all play into risk for heart disease. So all of these factors, and that is a lot. That's a long list to consider. And it would be way too much work. Plain and simple, it's too much work to work on all of them at once. So today we want to focus on an achievable goal so we can be successful. So working on our diet is one of those factors that gives us the best chance to improve our heart health. And that goes at any age. Any age you're able to work on those habits and have a healthier heart. And so I want to ask now, what type of diet helps a heart to be healthy?
The fried foods, cut them out.
Yeah, cut out.
Added foods.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of too many carbs.
Carbs, actually, carbs are a necessity.
And I said too many carbs.
Yeah, too
If
many.
somebody is having a diet of
Yeah.
pasta every day, now that's going to turn into a lot of sugar.
Right.
And potatoes in addition.
Yeah. Having those simple sugars, especially. Absolutely. Anything else? Yes, sir?
Salt content in your food. Salt.
Yes, yeah, high salt levels. What does high salt do, like, for the heart? Does anybody know? Well, it just like increases blood pressure in your body, so it's making your heart work way too hard. But
Question.
yeah, of course.
Could you elaborate on what you mean by lifestyle?
Yeah, that's a good question. So lifestyle, I want to ask, what do you guys think that like lifestyle is referring to? Unhealthy lifestyle here.
Drinking, smoking, lack of
Smoking.
exercise.
Like you said, all those things here, like exercise, diet,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
basically everything you do at home basically contribute to your overall health.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so if we're not moving enough, not getting enough exercise, then that's gonna start affecting our heart, or our diet is gonna affect our heart. Yeah, so today we just oh, okay, one other question I have is who thinks that they eat a diet that's healthy for their heart? Yeah, okay. We got a few. Hey.
Only recently, because I just got out of the hospital for diverticulitis. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on the track to, right, fixing things up. For sure, that's good to hear. Well, we're going to talk about diet, but specifically, we're going to talk about red and or processed meat. And we really just want to focus only on increasing the consumption of lean meat and plant protein options in the diet. But first, what is lean meat? Does anybody know what makes lean meat lean? Like why it's called that? Yes, sir. Yeah, low fat. Low fat, right. And then some examples are chicken, turkey, and even red meat. Red meat, such as pork chops and beef, can be lean and low fat as long as the fat is trimmed off. And usually it will say on like a packet, the package that it's sold in. Who is seen on like a grocery package that is like has a certain amount of fat free or lean? Yeah. Does anybody look for it over here? Yeah? Okay, well maybe next time you go grocery shopping, you can look at your meat package, and usually it will say, if it's like chicken or something, it'll say how lean it is or fat free. And some other heart healthy proteins sources are seafood, nuts, beans, peas and lentils, and tofu. Too soon. And then finally, meat that is fresh, frozen, or canned is much better than meat that is processed, such as like hot dogs, sausages, ham, or lunch meat. And with a raise of hands, does anyone already eat protein sources like these? Eat the protein options? Yeah? Hey, that's good to hear. Then we already got some healthy habits established. Okay, well, now these are the proteins that the heart values, but which protein choices might not be so good for the heart? We're gonna play a game here that's gonna explore exactly that. Okay, so this is a categorization game, and the idea here is to decide how the food is going to affect your heart if you eat the food regularly. And the key word here is regularly, like every day. And one thing to say, I want to say before we start, is that if you don't know which side it should go on, that's perfectly fine, because the goal here is just to start thinking about these different protein options and how they affect heart health. Okay, first up, we got eggs. This might be a tricky one because y'all lived through a time where eggs maybe weren't told to be so good for you. Right. But which side should it go on? If you eat them regularly, good for the heart, or makes the heart not feel so good?
Good for the heart.
Left side, yes, exactly. Eggs have so many benefits. They are a complete protein. They have lots of vitamins and minerals that help your immune system, and they're low calorie, which we'll talk more about why that's all important later. Okay, what about fish, seafood?
Left side,
Yeah, left side. Does anybody know why?
cause there's no fat, it's lean.
Well, there is fat, but
omega-3?
omega-3s, correct. Omega-3s are a very healthy fat for you. That they're like
When you say omega-3, what does it consist of?
omega-3. It consists of so there's two types, and we'll get to talking more about it later, I promise. But it's EPA and DHA is what they're called, and they just they have a laundry list of benefits. But one thing importantly for heart health is that they lower a fat in your blood called triglycerides, and it just like lowers that count, which is like, how does a fat lower fat in the blood? It's like a lot of science to get into. But
One more question.
yes, sir.
On the eggs, is it how you fix them, when you fry them, boil them, or?
Just eating eggs.
Any type?
You can have them fried, sunny side up. Yeah, I cook mine with butter.
I think on the question of eggs, if you were to fry the egg, it depends on the kind of oil you use in frying it.
Yes, yeah.
And it is recommended that canola oil, olive oil, but you have to watch the other oils.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, they are good for your heart. Salmon.
One question.
Yes.
When you use acronyms, would you tell us what they are?
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
you're throwing them out there, but I don't know what that means.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I could be honest with you, I do not know what DHA and EPA stand for. I think they're long names.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can look it up for you later on.
But the DHA and all that, our attention is drawn to the level of, when you take your blood pressure, they have what they call diastolic and systolic. So if you look at the numbers, it will tell you that you are doing something that is making your systolic pressure go up, or diastolic pressure go down. And generally, it's recommended that, I guess most of us here fall in that category. Your systolic should not go more than 150, and your diastolic should not go down more than 50. So if you take your blood pressure and you are 210 over 70, it's time to have some action.
Before it even gets to that.
Well, the immediate reaction that you have to do, and believe me, I have mine here. Hydrate, drink water. Drink plenty of water with everything. Instead of soda, cut that out. Drink water. A cup of coffee a day or two may be okay. I just don't hang on coffee. Both coffee and tea have caffeine in it, but coffee has more caffeine than tea.
Well, decaf is fine, ain't it?
It doesn't make any difference.
Really?
Diet.
I'm hungry.
Yes, thank you, doctor. Thank you for the lesson. Well, I would like to continue with the presentation, please. So our next is a triple cheeseburger. What is, we eat this every day for
That's
lunch.
bad.
What side should it go on?
Right side.
Bad, right. Okay, and then we have black beans.
Right, the left.
To the left, exactly. Does anybody know why? We're gonna talk about it more later, but anybody know why they're good for the heart? No? That's okay. We're gonna talk more about it
They
later.
help the bowels move, I know that.
Yes, and for the exact same reason, it'll help your heart. What about bacon? Eating
No.
bacon too
Right.
regularly. Right. What about a steak? If you eat steak every day for dinner,
Right.
it's gotta go on the, yes, to make the heart feel so, not so good. What about, we got some lunch meat here,
On the
ham,
right.
sausage. To the right, correct. Y'all are good at this game. What about some grilled chicken? And this is
Yeah.
skinless.
Yeah.
Yes. To the left, to the left. Okay, and then what about, what are these?
Are they
Lentils.
Lentils.
On the left.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
exactly. Lentils, and lentils are great. I wanted to say something, a little something about lentils. They are packed with B vitamins, lots of minerals, and they are impressively 25% protein, which makes them an excellent meat alternative. So we're gonna actually try a little bit of those later on today. Okay, so when it comes to Southern cuisine, which protein type do you see more of, or is it a mix of both?
What's the question again?
When it comes to what like we eat here in the South, what protein type do you see more of, or is it a mix of both of these? A mix, yeah, I would say so. And I want to be super clear with this game, okay? This is not to say this is what's good and that's bad, and you shouldn't eat that and you should eat this. Because all of these items can be included in a healthy diet. It's just important to eat the food on the right side there in moderation, and eat more of this stuff and work in that as some yummy tasties every once in a while. And cooking technique matters as well. I think we already talked about it, but how would you cook a chicken if you want it to be heart healthy?
I steam mine.
Steaming, that's one of them, yeah.
You can grill it.
Grill it, exactly. Boil it, exactly. And what if you want to make chicken a crunchy, tasty treat?
Bread.
Yeah, bread it, fry it. You know, then I mean, it's definitely tasty, but it's just not. If you eat it regularly, it's not going to be so good for the heart. Now you might be thinking, why? Why I love bacon? Why is eating this type of protein bad for my heart? And does anyone know why these meats are so good for heart health?
Is it the fat?
Exactly, yes ma'am. And we're gonna explore exactly why, like what happens on this next slide with a little bit of an anatomy lesson. So here we have this person. They've let us see inside into their intestines, and like here's where food will go in your mouth, and then it goes down to the stomach, and then there's some intestines. And so the reason that red meat that isn't lean is worse for heart health is because of the increased amounts of saturated fat. Does anyone know what saturated fat is and where it comes from? Saturated fat? No? Well, saturated fat is a fat that is solid.
From animals?
Yes, yeah, exactly. You know your stuff. It comes from animals, yes, and some plant sources as well, such as coconuts. Coconuts are really high in saturated fat. And you can see saturated fat and know what it is because it's solid at room temperature. So butter, animal fat, sometimes coconut oil can get solid at room temp. And that is saturated fat. So what exactly does fat do inside of us? Well, first it's good to know where saturated fat affects us. Does anyone know where fat goes first after you eat it?
The heart?
Yeah, so it does actually go to your heart first. Your heart actually prefers fats for energy. That's its preferred energy source, versus sugar or glucose. But then after it stops by the heart, where does it go?
Kidneys?
Your arteries and your tissues.
Not quite. It's like the
Your
stop
stomach.
stop center for all the nutrients. The liver.
Yeah.
It's going to your liver.
But I said arteries because I was thinking of your liver, your bladder, your kidney.
Yeah.
See, all these things settle there. And
Yeah,
they're
for
not
sure.
too comfortable. But I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. Sorry.
You haven't said anything about pork. I
About-
mean, in the South, probably not in Wisconsin, but in the South, most of us have been raised
Yes.
on pork. For instance,
their
have
bacon.
pork and beans.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we have, what do you call it? Pork chops
Yeah.
and all that. How do
That
they
bacon
come
was
into
pork
your
too, that bacon.
bacon also? That's right.
Yep. And I said pork earlier a little bit in the listings section.
Turkey bacon.
Yeah. Okay. So, continuing on. So there is your liver. That's usually where it sits, except behind the intestines. The liver is like TSA for the body. All nutrients. TSA. The security at airports. They're called the TSA.
Transportation Security Agency, whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. 'Cause I didn't even know what that was either. I just know it's called the TSA. All nutrients pass through it so that to get to the rest of the body, and the liver makes sure nothing harmful goes through.
I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard somebody say bottom feeders, you know, like high in saturated fats like shrimp and crab. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. That they're high in saturated fats?
More for like waste eaters. That's more from what I've heard about. It's more like the bottom is more like they eat waste more than what they.
Yeah, on the
Or,
bottom.
as far as the meat source.
Right, yeah. And what was your question with that?
Yeah, mine was that, are they high in saturated fats?
I don't know that for exactly, but I know that when we're referring to like seafood and seafood that's healthy for your heart, there was a list before, but it's like we're talking about like salmon, anchovies, and those are type of fish that are more like they're not on the bottom, I guess. So
Yeah, I understand that, but that was just
Now,
my question.
shrimp and crabs are good for you.
But not too
As you
much.
said earlier, anything you eat is in moderation.
mhm,
You know, don't abuse it.
right.
But generally, you peel off your shrimps and get the shell off.
Yeah.
In some societies, they use the shells to make soup. As a matter of fact, it is recommended that you start your meals with soup, light soup, like tomato soup, onion soup, and that fills you up in a way that you don't have to eat too much food to make you fat.
Right. Okay, so continuing on about the liver, thank you for all your knowledge. So your liver actually uses saturated fats for many things throughout your body, like energy and making hormones. However, our liver doesn't necessarily need us to eat extra saturated fat, because what it uses saturated fat for, it can make on its own. So now what I'm going to show you is a demonstration of what saturated fat does in the liver. We want to think about the liver as like a selective strainer. Let's say this person eats bacon for breakfast. And that amount of saturated fat from the bacon is not so bad. And the liver strainer processes it, it's just fine. Then for lunch, they have a Big Mac. And you can see that their liver is still working on that saturated fat from the bacon from breakfast, but this is not the liver strainer's first rodeo, and it's got it handled. Okay, but after this lunch, you can see that the strainer is full, and any more saturated fat will be too much for the liver to handle. Well, this is someone who doesn't know that. So, and also we can't see inside our bodies and see our livers and know that they've had too much. So for this person, they have a dinner for steak. They have a steak for dinner, and now they've consumed this extra saturated fat. But where can it go? Our liver strainer is full. So if the saturated fat can't get into the liver to be processed, where do you think it'll go next?
The heart.
Exactly. It's gonna go to the heart. And the longer that the saturated fat stays in the blood, in the circulatory system, the longer that it has to stick to the walls and block up veins and arteries. And once it's stuck to the walls, it's known as plaque. Have we heard of heart plaque and all that? Yeah, so that's fat that just can't get into the liver, and so it's got to find somewhere else to go. So you saw that eating a little bacon in the morning, perfectly fine. Livers can handle that. It's when too much saturated fat is consumed and then there's no moderation. Saturated fat does have a place in a healthy diet, but how much? According to the DGA, the Dietary Guidelines of America, saturated fats should contribute to no more than 10% of your daily calories. Now that's not a whole lot, so how much is that? For a 2,000 calorie diet, which is about average for everybody, 10% equals 200 of those calories, or about 23 grams of saturated fat. Now, I don't even know what that is or what that looks like. So Harvard helps us to put that into perspective as about a stick of butter, 3 glasses of whole milk, or a burger Whopper with fries. Yeah, and then, I mean, if you like have a tablespoon of butter or a glass of milk or like a single hamburger, like that's about 10% of like your required amount every day. And then your liver can handle that.
A whole stick of butter?
A whole stick of butter. So yeah, so if you are only eating this whole stick of butter a day, then that's less than 10%. Yeah, do we have any questions so far? Yes.
Suppose you had a cholecystectomy, a gallbladder removed, does it change anything?
That's a really good question, and yes, when you have your gallbladder removed, you do have to eat less fat because so your gallbladder plays it's like your liver's neighbor or cousin, and it's helping. Sorry, so the gallbladder is like the liver's assistant, I should say. It stores up all of the bile, is what it's called, and then it like shoots out when you eat fat. And so when you get that removed, you don't have as much bile that's helping you absorb and digest those fats. So it would be advised to eat less fat when you have that happen. Yeah. Okay, so cutting back on saturated fat means adding something in, and what I'm here to propose is that we eat more lean meat and plant protein. I'm going to talk about their benefits now and why benefits that they actually have for both a healthy heart, and aging as well. Okay, so first up, another little disclaimer is that if you see anything on the chart that you don't understand, I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end. So let's get started and get through it so we can get to it. We got poultry first. Poultry is so fit. Chicken, turkey, eggs are a great source of minerals, vitamins, and choline. Specifically, they have the mineral selenium in it, which is a great antioxidant, and that's great for your immune system. And then it also has vitamins B12 and some other, but the important one here is B12. And B12 is especially important for older adults. And does anyone know why? Your doctors maybe have talked about this, but
What was the question?
B12 is used for energy, yes, and building B vitamins in general help build tissue and make blood cells. But does anybody know why older adults need more B12, to eat more B12?
Because our metabolism slows down as we age?
That is a reason. That's an answer for a different question, but not this one. Not this one. So as you age, you absorb less B12. Your body doesn't absorb it as well. So you need to eat more so that whatever is being absorbed is enough for your body so that they can help build tissue and make more healthy blood cells, which also helps your heart. Choline is especially important because it helps with nerve function and can reduce inflammation. And all of this is very important when it comes to aging, like keeping your nerve function young and fresh. Another benefit that is important for aging is that poultry is low fat, which means it's low calorie. And why might that be important for adults? That it's like low calorie, is what you said
So
before.
that we don't gain that weight.
Right. As you get older, your calorie needs decline, and you need to eat less. So, eating things that are lower fat and lower calorie help you to achieve that. Okay, for fish has those omega-3s that we were talking about, DHA and EPA, and both of those reduce the risk for heart disease. And then it's a similar benefit for nuts. Nuts also have omega-3s, and omega-3s are just, like I said, they're like a superhero. They also help reduce inflammation, which there seems to be a lot of that when it comes to heart disease as well. And nuts also have the amino acid arginine in it. That's just a type of protein, basically, that helps keep blood vessels healthy. So that's important for heart health as well. And then why we were talking about beans, lentils, and peas earlier, and why you guys think those are good for your heart? How do those help? You said
Because it helps you, bowels.
your bowels move. Yeah. And what part of those helps your bowels move? What's the key word?
What part of the bean?
Yes. Yeah. Like what nutrient? We know? It's fiber.
Fiber, yes.
Fiber is extremely important. Has anybody ever heard about oats, like how they help your heart health and lower cholesterol? Well, they actually do. And it's because of the fiber, and beans, lentils, and peas also share that benefit. And beans, peas, and lentils also have folate, low fat, and low sodium. So all these proteins have so many heart health benefits that will make your heart strong and working right for a long time. Whew, that was the last of the learning part, okay? And now we're gonna transition into some activities now that will work on your everyday practical skills. So,
Do you happen to have a copy of that?
I do not. I do, however, have, this is a handout I'm gonna give everybody before you go, which kind of summarizes everything. But feel free to take a picture or,
Maybe that's what I should
yeah.
In addition to that, you have to also be careful of your potassium in your body, and banana is a good source of potassium.
Correct. Yes, potassium is an electrolyte that really helps you stay hydrated.
And another thing, the lady talked about bowel movement. I think most of us here, but all of, even young people, we have to be careful of having constipation.
Yes.
Constipation. And you notice as mothers, when you finish feeding your child, you put it on your shoulder and you say, burping. Okay, well, we have another way. Our elderly folks have a way. Generally, for me, when I finish eating, generally I have bowel movement immediately. And if your bowel movement, if it's hard, and you're having trouble getting it out of your system, that means there's something wrong. And that's where fiber becomes very, very important. You see, if you eat more fiber, you get good bowel movement. And I assure you, water.
Speaking facts.
Drink. You won't get drunk.
Okay, so here's this activity. we're going to now identify some lean meat protein options and plant protein options. Then, when you make your own grocery list at home, you're ready to work in your own lean meat choices and plant protein options. So we're gonna look at 3 different grocery lists and count up the lean meat and plant protein and red meat options, and then compare the different grocery lists. Okay, so here's the first one. So first, let's look for the lean meats and the plant protein options. What do we see? What do we see for lean meat options? Can everybody see? Eggs. Yep.
Carrots.
Carrots. Nope. Carrots have low protein. I'll say. That's just a vegetable.
What are we looking for? Okay. We're looking for meat.
Looking for the protein.
Protein.
Yes,
Right.
the protein. Looking for which one? Yeah. So eggs are actually the only lean meat option. We're close. So we only got one. Oh, that's a 2. Okay, now how about the red meat options? How many do we have there?
Bacon, sausage, sirloin steak.
Yeah, nice. So 3. We got 3 options there. Okay, so that's not bad, but that's not a 2-to-1 ratio like we were talking about earlier. And whose grocery lists would typically maybe look like this? Okay. Well, that's not bad, okay? But we, if we want to eat a little bit more heart healthy, we want to see a bit more lean meat options. Grocery list number 2. So how many lean meat or protein options do we have?
You got the eggs.
Yep.
The tofu.
Tofu. Someone I heard beans. Yeah, we got how many beans?
Black beans and garbanzo.
Okay, that's 2. And then there's one more. It might be a tricky one from this area. Yeah, peas. Peas. Okay. Any red meat on this list? See red meat? I don't. No, so that's a big fat 0. So, well, there's not a whole lot of like meat on there, and a lot more plant protein. And so this might resemble a grocery list of someone who's eating a vegetarian diet, and this might be how they're getting all of their protein in, with all those beans and the tofu and the peas, and the eggs as well.
Question.
Yes, sir.
How do carrots and spinach?
Carrots and spinach are vegetables that add to the fiber that you were talking about earlier and help that digestion. And vegetables are important to work into your meals because of all of the micronutrients and like vitamins and minerals that they have inside of them. So that's what they serve here. Does anybody know that kiwi has more vitamin C than an orange? Isn't that crazy? Okay, our last grocery list here, number 3. So let's do it again. How many lean meat options?
You got eggs.
Turkey bacon.
The turkey bacon, yes ma'am.
Chicken thighs.
And some chicken thighs, yes.
Sirloin steak.
Sirloin steak would be,
That's a fat. That's a
that one would be
That's
a
a
red
red
meat. We're gonna say that the sirloin steak is not lean. That one's not lean. Doesn't have the fat cut off of it. So we got 1 sirloin steak. Okay, so that's 3 lean meat options and 1 red meat option. And hey, like that's what we're going for here. That's like the 2-to-1 ratio, and it actually exceeds it. So that's a way to accomplish that when you're making your grocery list.
I will add carrots to my list.
You're gonna add carrots?
I will add carrots to my list.
Okay, solid.
Now we have to be careful that what works for one person may not necessarily work for the
Correct.
other person.
Yes,
But there's a level,
absolutely.
level ground which all of us can go.
Yes. So, next, we're gonna do a little bit of a visualization exercise that should also work some more practical skills. And then we're getting close. We're getting close to the tasting. Okay. Who attends family gatherings or goes to a restaurant where there are a lot of red and processed meat options? Yeah, I know I do. Every holiday. With this activity here, I'd like everyone to visualize any social setting where they commonly have red meat options available. Think about that place, and if it helps to close your eyes or look down, please do. I'm gonna kind of like talk everybody through this one. So does everyone have a place in mind? Like if you look into the pictures and imagine that social gathering where you go and like everyone's eating, talking. Okay, so now imagine you're walking towards the food and you see your options, you see your food options. Which foods, and you don't have to say it out loud, just think to yourself, which food would you normally go for and have on your plate? Visualize that plate and what you're eating. Now, look around and you're seeing, how many red meat options are there? Just think to yourself. How many lean meat or plant protein options are there? How much chicken, some grilled chicken, maybe it's like a bean dish, something like that. Looking around at the other people in this place that you're in, what are they eating? Do they think they know? Do you think that they know what happens if they eat too much red meat? Do they eat a heart healthy diet? These people who you're hanging out with at the family function? Do you think they know what you know now about eating too much red and processed meats? Just keep visualizing for a bit, imagining this place. Okay, we can be done with that one. Good job, and thank you for everybody for doing that with me. Just like kind of experimenting. What are some scenarios I want to hear that popped into people's heads? What were people thinking of? Where did you go?
I was thinking about holidays.
Yeah.
Holiday meals. Buffet, fast food restaurants.
Mm-hmm. You, sir?
Family reunions, I can see all that stuff laid out.
Yeah. Always a buffet. I know. And anybody over here? What you guys visualize? How about you, sir?
Party.
Yeah.
Going to a party, seeing food layout.
Yeah. Were you visualizing like your plate and thinking about what does everybody know here? Okay, well, these foods can be super hard to avoid when it comes to these social settings. I know that I struggle with it when I go to my family functions. And once again, I want to emphasize moderation. A family event or a restaurant outing that only happens once a month is not a problem. It only gets problematic when how you eat in that social setting is the way you eat every day. And so, remember our demonstration with the strainer. If you're eating more lean meat and plant protein regularly, one burger or a half rack of ribs at the family barbecue does not even faze the liver. We as humans are built for that. We're just not built to handle too much of it all the time. All right, so we are so close to doing the tasting. If you want to if you want to let him know to set the table up. Yeah, thank you. But first I need to explain how everything's gonna go. So for our tasting, we have 5 different dishes that I made: baked salmon, chicken salad, tofu scramble, roasted and seasoned nuts, and a lentil dish. I encourage you to try all of the options. I've tried them all and they're all delicious and definitely made with love. And to show you the process of getting the ingredients and preparing the food, I made y'all a video of all the process so that you can see how easy it was to make this food. As you eat, feel free to watch and try to put yourself in my shoes. Imagine what it would look like for you to make your own grocery list and go get your groceries and cook these meals for yourself. Then, after eating, I have a worksheet for everyone to consider the pros and cons of eating more lean meat, and then we'll discuss once everybody finishes. But before I let everyone get food, because we are about to start, I want to establish some ground rules for the tasting. The only major rule, thank you. The only major rule that I have here is a saying that goes, "Don't yuck my yum." And what that have we heard of that before? No? First time? Okay, don't yuck my yum. And what it's basically saying is that everyone has different tastes and preferences, but we never want to discourage anyone from eating something that they like just because we don't like it. So this is a little chart that suggests, instead of saying, "That's nasty," or "That's gross," or "Ew," say instead, "That's new," or "That's different," or "It's not to my taste, but I'm glad I tried it." Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and let y'all go get some food. And then I'll play the video once y'all get like settled and you're munching on stuff. So the food is gonna be back there. There's gonna be recipes in front of everything, so you know what it is. And then I'll meet you guys back over here on the tables that you guys had some snacks. Oh, it's not done quite yet. We got some more. Yes. Does anyone need help, like getting food to them? Like you, sir, do you want to try some of the food?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can bring over so you don't have to.
I'm going
You gonna walk? Okay. Sounds good.
to get some exercise.
Yeah, yeah. Move your body. That's good. Yeah, there's also some crackers too that I suggest having the chicken salad because I feel like that would be tasty.
Miss Mark, we'll bring, I'll bring you. I'll bring you.
See what we have.
Oh.
Look, I just went to, it was called a Thanksgiving dinner. This group had on the other night.
Yeah.
And we were there, and they, of course, they had the things. They had ham, chicken, dressing, not chicken, but turkey, dressing, collard greens, greens. Pretty much what I was gonna have for my dinner.
Yeah.
Everybody sitting at the table, and that's what bothers me. It's not your food anymore.
Right.
But you don't sit there and talk about, oh, this is nasty. This is nasty. What is it?
Right.
And then they had cake, red velvet cake, pound cake. Oh, Lord. The lady sitting on there talking about, I want some cake. So I had these you know, she wasted my cake.
Oh no.
Oh, beat that lady up. They had my pound cake.
Yeah, what in the world?
This ain't no home cooking. This is store.
And it's just discouraging.
It is. And then you take food and waste food because you don't like it and you don't like it, you have it. You throw this food away.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Right. You gotta tell people you gotta. I'll send you the graph.
Yeah.
Tell them don't yuck my yum.
No.
That's what you gotta
If you don't
say.
like it, then don't.
Exactly.
But that was.
Right. Appreciate you telling me that story. I know it happens, but thank you. It's been so long. I know some people don't know, but you know. And then we have just some activities to the end, and Yeah, hopefully it's like a smooth finish. I appreciate it though. Let me know what y'all think of the food. Well, actually, I'll talk about it.
Originally from Ghana.
Oh, it's good. It's that dill.
Kept you busy.
I'm actually sorry.
It makes a difference. Well, I was interested that where we are now, it used to be what they call Algonquin Technical. I lived there. And when I came, it was running down. Well, I said,
This is it?
Davis and I, we worked for the market. And so they named this room as Algonquin.
This salmon is just supposed to be tofu.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, you folks say, keep on keeping on.
I know what you're saying.
See, even if you walk, I go crazy, for 7 years, every step we make is different.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the video so everybody can see.
I'm gonna try this. Can you go?
You look like.
Why?
Oh, you're telling my story.
You got one too. What you got? You got to do one?
Anybody want a bottle of water?
That's what I did. I'm not gonna get it right. I'll need it
Have
right.
a pacemaker.
Christian, I think the Wi-Fi might need to be reset. Because it's saying it can't load and it's asking about the Wi-Fi.
Did you play?
Did you? Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes. You can be sure that
Man, see, this is what was saying on my
I'm getting all like, August, you still on the Wi-Fi?
What?
You still on the Wi-Fi? You still on the Wi-Fi? Yeah, that's
Oh.
fine.
Yeah.
It's still on my
Shout out to Arthur's Day.
Yes.
I really do need to change my hand.
Well, probably. Sing about it.
Does anybody need any like salt? I tried to keep the salt levels low.
You did good.
Yeah? Okay. Which one? The scramble? I seasoned it with Old Bay. Yeah, so that could have did. I was hoping the carrots and peas would dilute it. That is the dream. That's the dream. But just teaching about it.
Which nuts do you have? Since I'm just getting over the diverticulitis, I'm gonna stay away from them for now. But, you put the kind in there called anywhere.
Yep.
Because I'm afraid of it.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. No worries.
Are there napkins in this? Are there napkins over there? Did you see napkins?
I can use napkins. Who needs napkins?
Yes.
Yeah.
got your hot spot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Try it again.
Anybody else need napkins? Thank you, nothing there. All right, I grabbed one.
It would just say, it should say Arthur's iPhone. Yes. But down to the bottom, it's always at the bottom. Yeah, it's in the cup right here.
Oh, he made for that.
I didn't see these little plates.
Oh, you didn't? What happened to my cup of food?
You still,
Oh, it's got right there.
you still need to,
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
what you need for it? You got a video?
A video.
Oh.
My bad meal. I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know if my wife, I don't know if it's still connected.
Oh, I don't think it is. But I still have it up. It's still loaded, so I
Right,
know you
that's
do.
Come downstairs.
But you know, you got
Yeah, so your clock over here.
It's up on your phone, but not all of it's on the yeah, Mr. Andre.
I don't have it. I just wanted.
Kyle, you did a good job.
Thank you.
Throw some nails with it too.
Appreciate that. I wish I could show you guys this video, and you can see how having a bit of technical difficulties, but yeah, you guys got your protein in for the day.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think there's gonna be leftovers, so. It says all in the back.
I was just getting ready to say, it's pretty good. I've had tofu before. But now it seems like you got something spicy in it. And that's good. In the tofu, there's a taste spicy in it.
Farm, there's a difference now. The valley's where the old money is. That's where they turned out, that's where they turned out Michael Jordan's money, over at Hope Valley. And they got,
She didn't say that.
of course, over there.
But I can't do spicy.
That's the thing for the tofu.
But she's just saying, use your own seasoning. See, she doesn't have what she put in. Yeah, what is this spicy you put in the tofu?
The spicy? Old Bay.
You should have warned us.
Oh, is it spicy?
Yes.
Oh.
What's the old bay?
I thought that was tofu though.
Yeah.
I didn't have much I can't eat.
I used to.
When I was cooking my family, I always told take out the spicy. I don't want to just prepare it just like I was.
I should have asked. That made it really, see, I thought she was gonna have on here.
Okay, it's back.
She put it here.
Okay.
It's like everybody enjoyed this nutritious meal. I'm frying it.
Oh, yeah?
We even have some coffee over there.
Yeah, water.
Water. Ain't no water right now.
There you go.
The celery and the chicken salad.
Sure. Yeah, right there.
I just ate fried chicken for breakfast.
You did?
One chicken salad.
Well, you didn't eat too much of it.
Right. Only one meal.
You guys have, one chicken salad.
Is when a call is docked in slides. When a call is docked in slides. What's that mean? Oh, when a call is docked in slides. Because it's not letting me.
Sorry, what's her name? What's her name?
Kiya.
Oh, thank you. Well, we share. We share. I'm originally from Ghana.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it painted up there. On the building.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
loading.
John looked
It's struggling. The
Yeah, I went
presentation.
to Central and.
Yes, sir. I'm good.
I'm a native son.
You sent me a text, did you not see what I responded to? You don't mind. I said, thank you very much, I'm getting one tomorrow.
I'm 96.
So what?
I'll be 97 in February.
And that was another question I asked you, I had asked you. I said,
Like to
okay,
present?
be able to let me know if,
Yeah, and that's this is struggling right now. So as everyone is
Because
finishing
I figure
up,
whatever it is.
I'll wait just a bit.
Right. Is that correct? I'm assuming whatever I purchase, it can be returned. Yeah.
Okay.
I figured I was just going out and pick it up.
Do you see the option in the networks?
Yeah, so I actually like hooked up to the, it's working now.
It's working now? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Right? Okay.
Okay.
Oh my.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much. Oh, pretty good. I played this morning. Oh, and Jan, you were correct on the forgery. Well, did you see that? I responded to you, did you see that? Yeah. Okay, so, however, no, they're just playing 7-0. That's correct. That's correct. They do have another man that's, they do have another man now. Exactly. And she also said that whatever day he could come out to practice with us, come out. And she said she would like
What's your
to
first
have
name again?
Kaya.
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 I wrote that to you.
Where'd you get your training, your
Did you see it?
Iowa State University.
So.
Yeah, over in Iowa. Yeah, in the Midwest.
Were you born there, raised there?
No, so just my undergrad. I was raised in Wisconsin, and I was there for like all my schooling. But I started in. I was born in Florida.
In Florida?
Florida, yep.
Me too, I'm from Florida.
Oh, really?
Boynton Beach, Palm Beach County.
Where's that?
Boynton Beach, Palm Beach County.
I don't know where that is.
Palm Beach? Yeah, well, Boynton Beach, it's about 30-minute drive north of Miami.
Oh, okay.
Miami Beach, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that area because, like, I was born in Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the top. And now my family lives over in Pensacola.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually figured out the video. Gonna play this, and while this is playing, if you guys want to watch and put yourself in my shoes, like I said, and then also please start to fill out that worksheet that I handed out to everybody. That so the worksheet is talking about weighing your options between. I need you guys to fill out each column with the pros and cons of what happens if you don't eat more lean meat or if you do eat more lean meat. So like, what are the pros and cons to those two things? And there's some pens on the table. You should be able to fill them out. It should be on the, a worksheet? There. Okay, and then I'll play this video for y'all. I think I want to add more lean meat to my diet.
I heard it's good for your heart.
Good thing it's time to go grocery shopping. Y'all mind if I turn off the lights? Yeah, turn it off. I like to shop at Aldi and Walmart to keep my grocery bill low. I went and shopped at Aldi. They're on can salt it, but we can flavor them at home.
Yeah, I like Whole
Whole Foods, yeah. Got the money?
Foods. Sprouts too.
Time to make our salmon from home. Yeah, this was the recipes that I cooked today. Today I'm seasoning it with lemon pepper from Walmart, but you can use any seasoning you like. Both sides. And this salmon had skin on it. If you ever cook salmon skin up in the oven, it makes the skin real crispy. We're cooking this salmon skin up so the skin can get crispy in the oven. Oh, I said it. Now, I'm cooking it in the air fryer at 390 for 12 minutes.
My favorite, air fryer.
Air fryer, yeah.
Air fryer.
They're nice. Yeah, but you guys know what a chicharron is? Like pork rinds, like crisped up. That's like kind of what happens to the fish skin. You guys are about to see what happens. It's very, very good. My Japanese friend, he told me how to
Listen to
do
that.
it.
Crud.
Yeah, it's yummy.
Now we're making our chicken salad with cheese. You can use any type of
You walked
chicken.
right into that. I
Fresh,
didn't say that.
rotisserie, whatever you like.
Okay, we're gonna talk now.
You made it today? Was
Yes,
that
ma'am.
from a can?
Yes, ma'am. Very good. Yeah, it doesn't look so good when it comes out the can, but it might not look good now, but it's gonna taste great.
Fresh black pepper, salt, and a little bit of dill. Dill. Salt to taste. And the cracked black pepper. Now we mix. Time for the taste test. That's good. You can do nuts 3 ways. Just all by themselves. In a trail mix. In this trail mix, I have chocolate, raisins, almonds, and walnuts. Or you can roast them. When you bit a small amount of a neutral oil, like olive oil, and then whatever seasonings you like. I'm gonna do the lemon pepper seasoning from Walmart and some red chili powder. Everybody filling out their worksheets okay? Want to be careful how spicy we make it. But you can season with whatever seasonings you want. If you don't want to use oil to help your seasoning stick to the nuts, you can also use an egg white mixture. Yeah, so egg whites can be used spread
instead
them out
of
on
oil.
our bacon gonna cook these nuts at 350 for 5 minutes. You don't want to forget about these nuts in the oven because they burn fast, so make sure to watch them close. Our nuts are done and they are smelling good. They're item approved. Next we're making lentils. For this lentil recipe, I'm going to be cutting up a carrot and a tomato and putting those in. Tomatoes and carrots are all cut up. We're also going to put in some spinach and this chicken bouillon. This is a Mexican brand, but you can also use any other type of bouillon for flavor or any other flavor you like.
Does anybody use bouillon?
In the pot goes a cup of lentils.
I like it a lot for flavor.
3 cups of water.
So soft.
Our tomatoes and carrots. And 3 teaspoons of the chicken bouillon powder. A
Yeah,
teaspoon
no
per
sodium
cup.
bouillon because normally bouillon is so soft.
Yeah, Gala. I would just recommend putting less in because I don't.
use vegetable.
Oh, vegetable.
I use
Oh
vegetable.
yeah, that's a good.
Mix
That's
that
a good.
in a little bit. Mix everything together. And then we're gonna bring this to a boil. Once these come to a boil, we're gonna boil for about 8 minutes until they're done. Once it gets boiling, let it boil with the lid off for the duration of the cook time. And then I'm gonna put in
Okay.
the spinach once it's done.
We're gonna let this play
No, is that you can put any vegetables you like.
in the background while we move on for time's sake and talk about the pros and cons. Pros and cons of not eating red meat or eating red meat. Lean meat, I mean. Yeah, so first, what do we think of the food? Like, how do we think of the food that we ate? Good? Yeah? Think of cooking some of them yourself at home? Yeah? Okay, that's what I like to hear. Well, so what are some pros we thought about? We thought about, like, if you don't eat more lean protein, what are the pros of that?
Avoid fat.
You said what?
If we don't eat more protein,
Yeah, if you don't eat the lean protein, what are some pros?
If you don't eat the lean,
Don't eat lean. What are the pros of that? Are there pros?
what's negative to that?
Maybe pro would be it could save you. It might be like more convenient, possibly. I can't think of many. I can't think of many pros for that section. But what is the cons of not eating more lean? About eating more lean?
What are the pros of eating more lean? You're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Less cardiovascular disease like heart attack, stroke.
Yes. Yeah. All those conditions that relate to the heart. Right. Yeah. Any others that we can think of? What do y'all have all written down?
you avoid that plaque, but you avoid the strokes.
Yeah, exactly. What might be some cons of eating more lean meats? Sorry? Yeah. So if you eat more lean meat, you're gonna have. If you don't, the con of eating more lean meat is better health.
No.
That might be a pro.
Right.
A pro. Yeah.
I said, avoid fat.
Yeah. Keep the fat levels low in your diet. Absolutely. Yeah. So I can't really think of too many cons. Let's see. we're under the seasoning now. I can't think of too many cons either when it comes to what happens if you eat more lean meat. I think there's mostly only benefits. Okay, so one of the last things that I want everybody to do, I'm just finishing up the tofu scramble here, but this is the end of the video. So we weighed our pros and cons. So now I want everyone to try and do is to set a goal for yourself. So on the next page of the worksheet, I have a section where you can write out a goal of whatever you want your goal to be. If that's eat more lean protein or take care of your heart better, whatever it is. But goals help us to be more intentional about taking action and creating change in our life. So right now we're gonna make some SMART goals. And what is a SMART goal? So SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So when you're making your goals, you want to keep these 5 things in mind. So specific means instead of saying I'm gonna eat more protein, we're saying we want to eat more lean meat, lean protein. But how could you get even more specific with it? More specific than lean protein.
Say I'm gonna eat more salmon.
Exactly. Like what kind of lean meat? Yeah. So I'm gonna eat more nuts as a snack, or right. Measurable is making sure that your goals and progress are measurable. So how many servings of lean meat or plant protein will you eat? You know, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you can reasonably do for yourself. Achievable means that you don't want to give yourself too much to do at once, because then that will put unnecessary pressure on yourself, which could ultimately stop you from reaching your goals. So you want to make sure that your goal is achievable. Also relevant. Relevant means that it should align with your values and your long-term objectives. So for example, if your goal is to have a healthier heart, then your goal should align with that in mind. So like, for example, if your goal is to eat more bacon, does that align with having a healthy heart? No, right. And that's just an example. And also time bound. So set a realistic but ambitious end date to encourage prioritization and increase your motivation. So I'm gonna eat more, it could just be this week, or I'm gonna eat more. Oh, here I have some examples. I will eat beans and lentils for 4 lunches this week. Like something like that. You can count it. It's very specific. It gives you a time limit of just to the end of the week, and then and then you set out after your goal. So some other tips I have for setting a SMART goal. So that's that second worksheet. That's on there. Some tips is to try to set goals that include and don't take away. So for example, try saying, I will add more of this type of protein, or I will include this more into my diet, but not saying, I need to stop eating this, because we don't want to cut out the foods that we love, that we like to eat. We want to just make sure we're including the food that's good for us. So everyone take a second to think and write down a goal for yourself. And then we just have one more short activity to work through, and it is short. And that is to involve your community. It's a very important goal, and very important step of this whole process, because goals are more likely to be achieved when someone has social support. So our goal right now is to identify 1 or 2 friends or family who we can have that social support with. That's at the very bottom of the goal worksheet. and the pros and cons worksheets all in the same packet. The idea is to involve your community and help each other grow together. That's important. It makes a unit strong. And I feel like I see a lot of that here in the South already, so it'll come easy. And if you're stuck, I have some ideas on the board. It's like, you know, get your friends together and try these new recipes together. And create goals with family members and hold each other accountable. That's important. So when you see each other from this class, be like, hey, you eat more nuts in your diet or whatever it might be. Okay. So that is all that I have. If anybody has any other extra questions, but one more thing, I have a couple more things to hand out. I have an evaluation form that is going to let me know how what you thought of the presentation and how I did. Please give me all your feedback, good and bad.
You did terrible.
I know it was a bit long, I know that for sure.
Oh, you did.
Thank you.
Well, you didn't say anything about sugar. That's a big.
Yeah, it definitely is big, but we were just focused on the meat.
Oh, just like a dish. That's okay.
Yeah, focus on the meat for Heart House, but sugar is a whole other thing. You want to fill one up too? I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sugars, stress.
Yeah.
Genetics.
Right. Yeah. If I was doing a presentation only on heart health and just that, then I would. But that would be a really big topic to cover. You have to prepare to sit here for like 2 hours. And then I'm handing out a handout I have that can go on your fridge, or you can keep just to remember like the things that I've said during this presentation. Welcome. Yeah, it's just a handout that I made to look pretty, go in the fridge.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
I noticed that on your list, you don't mention mushroom.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What about mushrooms?
And then with the spices, there's also turmeric.
Oh, where? Oh, on one of my...
Turmeric, no. I'm mentioning turmeric.
Yes.
T-U-R-M-E.
Yeah.
I see. Very good spice.
Yes, yeah. Incredible. So, I actually watched my undergrad. I took a research course and somebody did a whole presentation on turmeric. And I learned about all the specific phenols that make turmeric so good for you.